Let's do it.
Have a good show, everybody. Here we go.
This is a safe place to talk about hard things.
Stand by. We'll count you down.
Today's going to be a changing day in your life.
5, 4.
I am not giving up on you. Thank you. Well, Megan says that 6 months ago, she was shocked to discover that her sister-in-law, Lindsay, was hiding a dark secret, and her brother, Chad, was covering up for her. Now, all was exposed after Lindsay was arrested for allegedly being high on heroin and crashing her SUV into multiple cars. But Lindsay wasn't alone. Her infant son was in the back seat. Now, Megan says it was only then that Chad finally came clean about Lindsay's long-term drug addiction, which includes overdosing while 3 months pregnant and the baby being born addicted.
I've told you this before. It's a disease, but you make bad choices out of it.
I had no idea that my sister-in-law, Lindsay, was a drug addict until she almost killed my nephew and herself driving high. Lindsay was in a local grocery store in the bathroom shooting up with my 9-month-old nephew present. Then she put my nephew in the backseat of the car and took off high. As Lindsay was driving, she was sideswiping, hitting multiple vehicles, and then crashed. Officers on the scene searched Lindsay. Heroin and syringes were falling out of her underwear. At the hospital, they drug tested Lindsay and found heroin in her system. When I found out, I was furious. I was ready to hurt her. Lindsay was put in jail for 3 weeks. Within a few days of Lindsay being released, she was rearrested for heroin possession again. I was beyond livid. She didn't even try to reach out to see her son. It was very clear that drugs were more important than anything in her life.
It's not me who's choosing to do those things. It's the addict in me.
After her arrest, all her secrets of drug use came out. Chad revealed to me that Lindsay OD'd twice while pregnant with my nephew. One time, her mother ended up having to do CPR on her and call the ambulance. Then the news got even worse. I found out that my nephew was born addicted to heroin. Lindsay and Chad told the family that he had to stay in the NICU because he was struggling feeding. It was a complete lie. He was in the NICU because he was going through withdrawals from being born addicted to drugs. I was disgusted. Utterly disgusted. I had hate in my heart for her. Knowing everything that Lindsay has done makes me angry and sick to my stomach.
Now, Megan thought that with her sister-in-law behind bars and divorce papers filed, Lindsay was in her brother's rearview mirror once and for all. Then, just 1 month ago, after everything that happened, and fresh out of jail, Megan says Chad allowed his wife to move back in. Now, Chad's mother, Molly, says she doesn't know what's worse, a lying drug addict daughter-in-law or a son who is protecting her.
Lindsay is just a hot mess. Chad is completely blinded by his love for Lindsay and is not thinking clearly at all. I'm pissed off because she's not clean and he's turning a blind eye to this whole situation. When Chad allowed Lindsay back in his house, I about lost my mind. I was beyond infuriated.
Immediately, I called Chad and told him that he was the dumbest, smartest person that I know.
I thought to myself, what is with her? What does she have that makes him keep going back? Chad is being reckless because he's putting Lindsay for the safety of his own son. Chad goes to work and leaves my grandson in Lindsay's care all day. It worries me, it scares me. I don't trust her alone with him. Without a doubt, Lindsay is a danger to my grandson.
I know I put him in those dangerous situations, but that was due out of a bad decision and choice I made from the addiction.
I cannot stand when Lindsay tells me every time I would never hurt my son, and yet she's almost killed him 3 times. The baby wasn't enough to make her stop back then. What's gonna make it change now?
Your family should focus on helping me rather than turning their backs on me.
Chad is in such denial.
My brother is making a